Sterling pulls my hair back from my face and leans to press his lips to my. His hand rubs my back rhythmically, and I smile through my grimace. I pull my head up from his, the sweat on my forehead getting in my eyes.
Oh, okay.
You're so beautiful, he says. Especially like this.
You're ridiculous.
I
Hi, Bim.
Hello, Nicole. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Listen, my mouth is full of sweets right now. I'm
Okay.
sipping some.
I wasn't sure what you were about to say,
I mean-
but all right. I'm okay. I'm with you now.
I said sweets. And
Yes.
I meant sweets. And I'm drinking some sparkling water. And, you know, I got a head full of braids, new braids.
Yes. Yes.
So I feel
looking
okay.
cute. Looking
Thank
cute
you.
with the tassel earrings. I see you.
Listen, somebody's trying to get wifed before cuffing season. So I'm just saying, I'm putting my stall out. I know we have a lot of lady listeners, and I am, alas, straight. But I'm also saying, if you have a cute coworker, a cute friend, all that good stuff, you know where to find me. I'm on the whole internet. You can find me. Anyway, enough about me and my dating troubles. How are you, Nicole? What are you doing this week?
Oh my gosh. You know, this podcast, we talk about how much we love certain men, you know, as much as we can love them from, you know, right? And I have found that this week men get on my nerves so bad. I just want them to open their mouths and communicate. So that's what I'm dealing with this
Well,
week.
you know what? Luckily, for a little while at least, right here in this studio, we get to work through the fuckery of men in a way that allows us to go back into the world and not kill them all. So I think, in a way, this is a public service / therapy session.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful that I get to work through that with you because, as we know, we say this every week, we fancy men despite themselves, not because of it. So
Seriously.
I think some weeks are more trying than others.
Yes.
But we're here now. And this week we have a spectacular specimen. I mean, he's a human man with thoughts and feelings.
Right, yes.
But also he is hot.
So hot. So, I mean, he just like looking at him and my body goes still because I'm just
so glad you said still. I wasn't sure how that word was going to end.
because I'm just like, I need to be able to focus entirely on everything that he is giving me.
Yeah, Nicole, who are we thirsting after this week?
Mr. Sterling K. Brown.
That K just stands for fine. I know fine begins with F, but it's Sterling Fine Brown. He is so handsome.
So handsome.
Like when he smiles, I smile back.
He is one of those people that, you know how someone says his smile lights up the whole room? That is Sterling K. Brown. Like when he smiles, it is the sun coming over the clouds or some shit. I don't know. Like
Truly.
I'm a poet, but he makes me lose all my poetry because he is just so divine.
He makes me lose all my poetry. Tattoo that, guys. I think it's one of those things where, again, someone that we've been thinking about doing for a while, lol. And and then once it becomes like possible, you just think to yourself, my God, we should do Sterling K. Brown every week.
Every week.
And because we love Sterling so much and we know how he inspires a certain amount of, an outpouring of love, we have brought in an expert this week to thirst with us.
Yes, but one of our favorite people.
Truly, truly. She is the person, first of all, if you know her, you know she gives the most amazing compliments. I have never received a compliment from her without immediately kind of thinking to myself, my God, I am the shit. And that is because our guest is Essence Gant, who is the senior beauty editor here at BuzzFeed's As Is, and she's here with us this episode to give us all the Sterling K. Brown thirst that we need. Essence, hello.
Hello.
Ooh. You're not sexy on the mic.
You know, just a little.
Shut up.
Hello out there.
This is going to be fun.
I know, I
This
can
is
already
gonna be
tell.
fun.
Yeah,
How
we
you
got
doing?
some rosé popping.
I'm
Listen.
doing great. I'm drinking some rosé. I'm with you two beautiful melanated queens.
Hey.
And
Look,
you know,
see what I mean about the compliments? She just
Yes,
says
you
stuff, and
know,
I'm like,
I
that
say,
should be
I'm just
cheesy.
glad.
Why do I believe this?
I'm
because it's
glad,
Essence. Shut
you
up,
know.
Essence. Shut up, Essence. It's too
Listen,
much.
Y'all can't see, obviously, but Essence has the most amazing hair, amazing skin, style.
Yep.
Like, she is, like, if you were to try to figure out who would be the best beauty person in your life, it would be Essence, because she is everything.
She's a 10 on every score, and it's upsetting but also really inspiring.
Yes, you actually should be a model.
She should. Okay, I've often thought that. You know who Essence is to me? She's the epitome of every black baby doll I ever had in my life. She is so doll-like. Shut up.
Yes.
Take the praise. Just shut up and take the praise.
How you invite me to your house and then check me?
Oh God! But it's all true. Essence is truly beautiful. It has an amazing mind. It's so funny. It's so smart. Writes amazing stuff about beauty. Everything you've ever wanted to know and have been scared to ask. Essence does all of that, and I appreciate you so much. But here today, you are here to do something very specific.
Yes.
You were here to thirst longingly and articulately about stop body rolling.
She's body rolling in the chair right now.
Put your tongue away and stop body rolling. You love Sterling K. Brown, don't you?
I love that man with my whole heart.
It's like a testimony at church.
Yes. I love him so much. He literally, like, he gives me hope. Like, he does. He gives me hope. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, it's possible. Like, there is a man out there for me, like him. And I felt like for a long time, like, and I'm so for real, like, but for a long time, I was kind of discouraged. And then pops, Sterling on the Brown. And I feel like that was Black Jesus's way of being like, my child, rest. Like, sometimes God just got to send you like a little sign on your journey. And I was like, okay, it's possible.
Okay.
We're going to get into why you think it's possible. What is it about him that gives you hope in just a minute when we get like fully into the conversation. But we're already excited to talk about Sterling K. Brown with Miss Essence Gant. Okay, so Bim, I've got rosé, some chilled Pinot Grigio, and a cup of water, and we got Essence in the studio.
Yes, we do.
We're ready.
Listen, like Tiffany Haddish, so beautifully Nene's. She ready. We are all ready. I'm very excited. So, Nicole, let me ask you, do you remember where you first saw Sterling K. Brown?
No, I do not. But that is because he has been around for such a long time. He's been around for about 15, 16 years doing, roles in shows like ER, NYPD Blue, Army Wives, Person of Interest, The Mentalist, Masters of... Like, he has just like a whole slew of roles where he's popping up on these very popular, very well-received shows. And you immediately notice who he is, but you're just like, oh, who is that man? You don't forget his face, but you're just like, we need to see him in something more compelling for what he's doing, because he is such a strong actor.
He is, but I think you're right. The beginning of his career really is a masterclass in just being a character actor. I know I saw him, this is back when I was at university, so several years ago. He was on Third Watch. And back then, there was no K in his name. He was just Sterling Brown. And I thought he was a very attractive man then. But Third Watch also was full of very attractive people.
Yeah.
You may remember Michael Beach. He was in that too. God bless Michael Beach. But I remember seeing him kind of going, like you said, you notice him and then you kind of go, I've seen him in other things. I'm sure I'll see him in other things. Because all the shows you mentioned, he does 1 or 2 episodes, maybe 4. But that's basically all he was doing back then. There was never anything really substantial that he was kind of in. So Third Watch was the first one that I saw him in, that I remember seeing him in. But you're right, he did like Alias. He did fucking Without a Trace, Eli Stone. He was even on Supernatural, because I know this because I remember reading a story about how a Supernatural fan who came to Comic-Con wanted him to bite him.
Wow.
Yeah, because of his role on Supernatural. So my point is, he has been around.
The idea of Sterling K. biting her face.
Her eyes are so wide.
I'm not mad.
Of course you're not mad. You understand an opportunity when you see one.
Listen.
But yeah, so he's not someone who has been in many, many things. And then the next big thing that I saw him in was actually the American Crime Story of O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, right.
So he had like this, bitty. This was very much a big deal for him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I watched that. Because back in the day, I was like, let's see what this is about. Because, you think you remember the O.J. Simpson trial. You think you do. And then you start watching it, and then you think, wait, what?
Yeah.
Huh? When did this? And then he plays Christopher Darden, who was one of the prosecutors on the side of the state.
Yeah.
And it's fascinating to see history as played in, how it looks now, from the standpoint of the future, to kind of look back and be like, that thing. And he's so good in it. He's bald in it, so he doesn't look like the Sterling K. Brown that many of us know and love. He's kind of like, he looks a little bit harried. He looks very much like a public defender. You know, he's not sleek. He's not kind of slick. He's very just kind of like harried, and you know, he knows he's on the losing team because of, you know, all these other factors, and he just plays it so humanly because it's so easy to kind of get lost in the gloss. But Sterling K. Brown's big thing, I think, is that he grounds everything he does in this immense humanity.
Yes. But then also, because this is a thirsty podcast, Christopher Darden, who's not somebody I would necessarily have been attracted to, particularly at that time in my life. But I remember that there was always like this little like undercover heat to him that you could see in the trial, like when they would show it on TV. And I feel like Sterling K. Brown captured that because he has this, like, the way he carries his shoulders, the way that he looks at people, you know, like he really focuses in and he's very present when in whatever role, but particularly in this role. So I think that he really captured the little, like, sexiness that Christopher Darden may have had.
The sexiness of, I suppose, intensity and intellect. Yeah, where you're kind of like, I'm drawn to this thing because you seem so fucking competent.
Yes.
Like, and I think that is an underrated thing, and not many people can actually translate that. I think people can do like regular hot, but the idea of something like under the surface, something brimming, that you're like, I don't know what it is, but I'm drawn to it. Sterling K. Brown really, really excels at that.
Yeah.
You've presented a defense that is based completely on lies and deceptions. It's teasing the public, the media, by throwing them bits of the tapes. Inflaming the public's passions in an attempt to exert political pressure over his honor. In an attempt to pressure the court into admitting in the Furman tapes.
Mr. Darden.
This case is a circus, and the defense has made it into a circus. And the court has allowed them to walk
Mr. Darden, you are close to being held in contempt.
Well, I should be held in contempt. Jesus. There's nothing funny here.
I think he also brought that, even in a role that I think he perhaps was not necessarily brought to be. He was such a clearly a type in this role. I'm talking about his role in Insecure, where he played Lionel.
Oh yeah.
And the second season of the HBO Issa Rae show, and he's like this perfect man who Molly, for some reason, just cannot commit to.
Essence,
Essence is making a face, so I want to turn the mic over to you. Tell me about Lionel and what that made you feel.
He's just like he's like a good guy. Like he was just a good guy, like clearly employed. You know what I'm saying? Honey, it matters. Employment matters.
Yes, it does.
Employed, like good guy, clearly like really into her, like super like polished, but you could tell like you could, and I feel this way about Sterling in real life too. And I say in real life like as someone who's never met him, but I know he's this way. But like you can take him wherever and he can adjust, like he can adapt. And that's kind of how I felt. Like, you know, he'll get along with your mama, he gonna compliment her potato salad, make her, you know, have her, you know, like loving him. You can take him around your friends, they gonna love him. Like you can take him wherever.
Yeah.
I feel like that was how he was.
Right.
Yeah.
He's like really like approachable, everyday hot. But like, I think like we said, the key thing is when Sterling K. Brown smiles. I mentioned this before. I smile back at him.
Yeah.
Nicole said it's like the sun coming out. I mean, I feel so strongly that he's a good person.
Yes.
I don't ever want to be proved wrong. Sterling, please.
I know.
You
Don't
know?
do it.
But it comes through in this smile that fills up. And when he does it slow, when he unfurls his smile.
Yes.
Because he can do a quick smile. He can do... All right, ladies.
Yes. But we knew exactly what you were talking
Of
about.
course you do. When he smiles slow, when you can see it kind of like slowly like blossoming on his face, I have to, it's everything in me. I have to sit on my hands because I'm just kind of like, I want to reach out and grab his face. He is so uncomplicatedly hot when he does that. He has this amazing jawline. He has a really great neck. Sorry, once again, I have to swallow my saliva because I'm just feeling some things. He is so well put together. And there was a photo that you brought up, Essence. And I've never seen a man stand so hotly, just standing. Tell me about the photo, Essence.
So if you go to his Instagram, that I advise everyone to follow at Sterling K. Brown.
Yes, enunciate to give us the handle.
There is this photo of him on the purple carpet for the Black Panther premiere, and he has on all black. You know what I'm saying? Some shades.
Yes.
Look like he about to like start a riot, but so smooth. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like he just looks like just down.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like a down ass, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
he just looks down. But yes, I love that photo. He just looks like polished and refined, but also like, you a little street, ain't you? You know what I'm saying? He is a lot of things.
You can see that. You can see his hard work and in his career and moving, but you also can see that he remembers where he came from.
Yes.
Right.
Ooh, child, yes.
Yeah. Now, neither Nicole nor I watch the biggest show in the history of the world, it feels like, called This Is Us.
It's sinful.
I know. I can't bring myself. Listen, I love crying. I love crying. TK, our producer, is so outraged by this that she's making gestures from outside the booth. Please forgive us, TK. I can't bring myself to watch such an obvious tear jerker. It feels like a very specific kind of torture. I already watched Friday Night Lights. I know what Jason Katims is able to do. I don't need to actively step into a place where the tears are wrung from me every week. So that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
So I'm the same way. Like, I watched Parenthood, and that was enough. Like, I need a break from that. Like, I really don't want to watch a show where I have to cry every episode.
Right.
Like, it's not. I understand
even
it's
if some of
cathartic.
the tears are happy tears.
Even then,
it's just
there's
too
only
much
so much salt in
emotionally.
me. I can't put it all in my tears, man.
Yeah, but I see the GIFs. I see the video clips. I see him and his wife, a black woman.
Yes.
On
His TV
screen.
wife. She's something
Yeah,
else.
his TV wife.
Susan Kelechi Watson, who is also stunning and
Beautiful.
very much a snack.
Goals.
Yes,
Truly.
all day. I've seen it. I know, and I one day will watch.
Okay.
But right now, I'm just like, let me just look at him right now.
That's it.
Just like,
But you love This Is Us, and you love him on it.
I love This Is Us. I love him. He I'm gonna be real. And This Is Us is like they cast so well. Like the cast for that show is so phenomenal. Like they're so talented. But I watch for him. Like I watch that show for him. It's just so real. It's like you know him. Like when you watch his performance every episode, you recognize him. You're like, I know this person. Like you know a black man in your life like him. Like, you know what I'm saying? He plays like a black husband so well. He plays a black father so well. You know what I'm saying? He's so good. He's everything. He is everything.
Your grin right now is so big.
Everything. He be crying. Like, but in a way that's like how black men cry. Like, as I'm a Southern girl, whatever, love my daddy to pieces. And he's not like an emotional, he's like he's such a Southern black man. Like, you won't see him crying a lot. And I remember like the first time I saw him cry was, I think, at my grandmother's funeral, his mom's funeral. And it's just it's a very specific way that black men cry. Because like by the time that they finally bring themselves to that point and like it's really beautiful. It's like hard to watch, but it's so beautiful. And Sterling it's like spot on. It's so, so beautiful to watch.
wow. Okay, so what makes his character such a good father on the show?
Cause he's funny, like he's silly and he's funny. He be doing his daughter's hair, and
You're grinning like he's your husband.
Yes. I was like, let me pull out my phone so I can record her. Hold on.
And he is definitely a whole married man, so I need to calm my ass all the way down. But his wife be coming for me, but she ain't coming for me. She's secure in her spot, honey. But because she bombed too. But anyway, so like he's just funny. Like he just the way that he interacts with the girls, it's like, and I think a lot of it too, in a weird, like it reminds me of like my upbringing, because the mom is clearly like the force, like the disciplinarian, like the she's a showrunner, like whatever, and he's like, a quiet authority. Like he has authority, but in a very like not hyper masculine way. Just like he just is. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you respect it. And like the way that he interacts with his daughters is like very patient and gentle, like very funny. He's super funny. Eventually, they end up fostering a daughter. Her name is Deja, which I just love the fact that her name is Deja. Like, everything about that show is so good. But even his interaction with her, there's a part where she cuts off her hair because she's just going through a lot. Like, she has a lot of trauma, and she cuts off all of her hair, and she has this, like, TWA, teeny-weeny afro, and he just tells her how beautiful she is, and it's just beautiful, y'all. It's it's just so beautiful. It's just... y'all need to watch it.
All right.
Yes, we'll watch. We'll watch.
Or at least just watch, like, some episode, like those standout episodes.
I've got this big, amazing, beautiful life. And if I'm seeing me in you, if seeing you is giving me that sweet, sweet deja vu feeling, I think that means it's gonna happen for you, too. Okay?
Okay. A big part of also his charm and his allure for you is that he is, in real life, married to a real black woman.
Yes.
And has 2 beautiful, real black children.
Yes.
And is just out here being just this. He's so clearly in love with his wife. And it never feels performative. It doesn't feel like he's kind of like, oh, my better half all the time. He just, it's fact.
Yeah.
The sun is hot. The sky is blue in the summer, whatever, and Sterling loves his wife. That's it. Like, those are, like, immutable facts. It's actually incredibly charming to see.
Yes.
And you love that about him.
I love that about him. I love that she's on his, like, almost every single row on his Instagram, there's, like, a picture of her or, like, a video of her. And like you said, it's so authentic. Like, the way he talks about her, the way he looks at her, like, he is so in love with his wife. And I love that it's so public. Like, he feels like, or like watching their relationship, it feels to me like he just feels lucky to have her. Like, he still can't wrap his head around the fact that, like, yo, this is my wife. Like, he is just so happy that she was like, okay. Like, you know, like the nerd cheerleader, like, narrative. That's how it feels to me watching him.
Yeah, so he shows that in the OWN show, that's the Oprah Winfrey Network show, called Black Love. And the 2 of them, and her name is Ryan Michelle Bath. And so they have some interviews with them. And I'm going to play a little clip about them remembering their first kiss.
So she came to my dorm room. Now, she will dispute this fact that I'm about to say. She comes to my dorm room.
I can't.
In booty shorts. And I'll say it right to the camera. She came to my dorm room, my room, in booty shorts. Okay? So I'm like, oh, this is a sign, right? So we're transcribing. But if you haven't noticed, my wife has a very nice posterior, looks good in booty shorts, okay?
Booty shorts.
So we're doing a scene.
I got them from Ann Taylor. Ann Taylor does not sell booty shorts. Thank you, girl.
Anyway,
Thank you. Thank you.
Like, maybe it was like Ann Taylor Rack or something, because these
There's no Ann Taylor Rack. Ann Taylor Loft. They didn't even exist then.
There's cheeks. There's cheeks. That's all I'm saying. I'm not talking about these right here. Oh, they're cute.
Oh my God. So the thing about that clip is that she looks so in love with him and so indulgent of him, and he looks so in love with her and so indulgent of her, and their chemistry is so much that I want to climb into the frame and sit between them on that fucking sofa and be like, yeah, now my turn. Let me tell you my turn. Let me tell you me. Because they are so warm.
So warm.
Yeah.
I mean, like you were saying at the beginning of the show, I look at them and I'm like, maybe love is real. It's possible that people can love one another in this shitstorm of an earthscape. And maybe things aren't all terrible. Who can say?
Right.
But looking at them gives me that hope of just kind of like, wow, this is what happens when a man loves his wife and likes his wife. And this is what happens when a woman likes and loves her husband.
Yes.
And maybe, just maybe, there's a possibility that could happen for me.
Yes.
Oh.
Like, my cheeks hurt because I was smiling so hard. My cheeks hurt.
Right.
It was just so beautiful.
The cheeks on your face, we should be clear after that.
Yes, right. Also, Ann Taylor definitely did not sell booty shorts. So. I take her side on that.
It's so funny, but I just like that he is so like, I love her body, but also he's very respectful about it. Like he doesn't, you know,
he's like, she's hot, fight me. But also, we're not here to talk about my wife's body. I'm just saying it's nice. I just appreciate someone who just is very, like, you know, it basically goes back to what you were saying. He is down.
Yes.
And wherever you put him, I think Sterling K. Brown has the ability to kind of fit. Because here he is on This Is Us, which is, I know you say it's great and blah, 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 but when I look at that show, all I see is white people. And I'm not mad at that. I'm happy for them. Good for them. But also I'm kind of like, okay, you're clearly doing something very specific in this show. Like, you are the kid they adopted. You are all these other things. And so I kept thinking about the character of Randall and how he grew up in this incredibly white landscape with these white siblings, being the adopted kid, being different, being this, being that. And for the most part, he's perhaps the most stable of his siblings in later life,
sure.
you know, on the show. And I think that's nice and great and whatever. But I also I'm really grateful that also the showrunners were smart enough and good enough to give him, his character, a black wife and black children, and to position his race not necessarily as the forefront of his character, but absolutely indisputably part of who he is in a really obvious way, the tangible ways that count, i.e. the woman he loves, the children he has. I think that was like a really strategically very smart thing to do, because of course it's the reality for so many people, but also of all the people who can deliver that shit, Sterling K. Brown has the chops, he has the range. I truly firmly believe that in the next 10 years he will absolutely be Oscar nominated. I believe it, because he has such skill. He is so good. While we're on the subject of his wife and his beautiful and how much they love one another, I want to go back to a video that he posted last June. And the person behind the camera is his wife. And I just want you to, first of all, the camera angle is so adoring. Like, she loves her husband, and he's like wearing like a towel. And you can see, like, you know, the V. And his skin is all out and, you know, nice and even and brown. And the towel is stark white. And he's got one hand on his hip. You know, he was ostensibly promoting his new film at the time, Hotel Artemis. And it is quite magical.
What's up? How y'all doing?
Good.
What you laughing at? Look, hey, Hotel Artemis. Coming out this Friday. Quit laughing at me. Hotel Artemis. Coming out this Friday. Come check out your boy. If we get a good opening weekend, I may be able to get that membership to Equinox.
How about a house, Negro?
Yes.
Okay, so
They're so black.
One of my favorite things is the way black people reclaim certain words with each other, because it's like, in my house, in my very southern house, we are always like, what y'all Negroes doing?
Right, yes. Negro, please.
Yes. And so to see that these, you know, successful people of note, right, also talk like I do,
right,
that my people do, that is so like, yes. And then he, you know, he's just so like, quit laughing at me, because he looks so pretty and so good, but also so ridiculous, because clearly he's fronting for the gram.
Like, boy, what are you doing? You know you ain't like that. You ain't hard.
And the way when he's talking, he kind of claps his hand to his chest, like right on his pec muscle. I don't even like pecs. But right now I'm slurring my words because I'm so overcome by... And he kind of does that. Come see your boy. And I'm like, I will come see my boy.
Yes.
I will.
Yes. Okay, where you gonna be?
Yes. Let me know.
Where you gonna be at?
I also love that she's laughing so clearly.
Yes.
But like I said, the camera angle is so... I mean, again, it's that thing about when you look at a photo and you can tell the person behind the camera loves the subject.
Yes.
And she so clearly loves her husband, is supporting him, is doing this stuff. And, you know, she's an actress in her own right, we should say.
Yeah.
And he's equally as appreciative and in awe of her, because there are loads of photos when they're on the red carpet where he's doing that classic Will Smith pose of just kind of like, hey, guys, look at my wife.
Yeah.
And there's one in particular where he's kind of like got his, like, he's holding his chin or something, and she's kind of like adjusting her dress or whatever. And he's looking at her just almost like it's the first time he's ever... I'm grinning. I'm grinning. I'm so happy.
Because he's looking at her like, damn, girl.
Right.
Like, you going home with me.
Right, yes.
Oh, my God.
Like, he literally feels lucky to have her.
Yes.
Oh, my God, I'm crying.
No.
I'm like, girl, she need to write a book. I'm like, girl, what you did? Tell me, honey. Give me all the secrets.
Because they've been together since college.
So beautiful.
we can't not talk about his very brief but very, very pivotal role in Black Panther. As a Nigerian, first of all, I would obviously start that sentence with as a Nigerian, because as Nigerians, that's all we do. We talk about as a Nigerian. But I was watching that movie, and listen, God bless everyone. Many of the accents were terrible, but it's all love. Shout out to Diaspora. It's fantastic. just calling it by its name.
Yes.
Sterling K. Brown plays Eric Killmonger's father, and this is the character called Njobu, who has left Wakanda and arguably has lost his way a little bit and so on. And he appears at the beginning of the film, and then he appears later in sort of like a dream, kind of like other dimension sequence.
What did you find?
Your home.
I gave you a key, hoping that you might see it someday. Yes, the sunsets there are the most beautiful in the world. But I fear you still may not be welcome.
Why?
They will say you are lost.
The bulk of his time on screen cannot be more than 10 minutes.
Right.
And in those 10 minutes, I think he actually delivered the pure heart of the entire film so significantly that afterwards I was like, man, they should have found a way to just keep him in there for a bit longer.
Yeah.
He's so good. He does this work where he just makes you cry. And he's crying, in the
He
scene.
does cry.
He cries so beautifully.
It's so
He's
beautiful.
such a good crier.
I told y'all.
He
I know my man, honey. I had told y'all.
He cries so beautifully, and then the camera kind of pans, and it's like baby Killmonger, and then it becomes adult Killmonger, aka Michael B. Jordan, and they're both looking at one another, these two wounded black men.
Yes.
And my heart fell out of my chest. Like I just thought, obviously, at my deepest core, fuck Killmonger. This man is a bad man, blah, blah, blah. And I just kept thinking, God, I want to see an Njobu film, which is completely unrealistic. But I'm like, I want to know about his life in America. What did he do in Oakland before he was killed? How did he,
Yeah, there are talks right now. I don't know how solid it is, but of a Killmonger series talking about what he did before we see him in Black Panther. And I would be interested in seeing if Sterling K. Brown and his character pops up.
Man, I hope so.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, that would be really interesting.
That would be so dope.
Yeah.
I love him. I would watch him do anything
Literally.
all the time.
Yeah.
Because he literally can do anything.
Yes.
Like, so you have This Is Us, and he's like this professional, like college graduate, like, whatever, with this great ass job, and he lives in the suburbs with his family. And then we see him in Black Panther, and it's like, okay, yeah, he's like the prodigal son, like he left, and then, he got on his black teeth, his little gold chain. I was like, you better give me Thug Bae.
Yes. Yes.
I was here for it.
I want to go back a little bit to the idea of Sterling K. Brown being down, okay? And because
your voice went down so many, you're like, damn. I really be talking about him like he my man. Like when people bring him up, I be like, right, exactly. You right, he does do that.
So recently, Olivia Munn brought up that there was a player, an actor in The Predator who was a registered sex offender. And she's been getting a lot of flack for that, a lot of backlash. And she talked about how her castmates did not support her. Sterling K. Brown is one of those castmates, and when she was talking about not supporting her at TIFF, the Toronto International Film Festival. Sterling K. Brown was not at TIFF. He was filming This Is Us. And so when he heard that she was, feeling very lonely in what she's done in support, he tweeted out to her, and I'm hoping that he contacted her personally, but he tweeted out, I'm sorry that I wasn't there. I'm not able to be there, but I support you. Like, he was very, open to being corrected in this, which I really appreciate. And there's another moment earlier in this year where he was also kind of asked a question about the lack of access Black journalists get when they're on the red carpet of different film moments and things like that. And so I want to play a little clip from that because it's so telling the way he is open to criticism and that he's able to sit and he'll look and he'll think about his response before he talks. Let me play the clip and then we'll come back to that.
Do you think there's any plan in Hollywood to make sure that the media room starts to reflect the diversity that we're beginning to see in the industry? told you it's a loaded question, but it needs to be addressed.
Just taking a look around the room, like, you got a point. It's a lot of white people. You know what? I'd never paid attention. And shame on me for not having done so. But maybe this conversation is the beginning of something taking place, you know? It is, you get that conversation when you're a young person, you gotta work twice as hard to get just as far. And that, you know, I don't know if that holds true exactly or whatnot, but it's something that's been etched, burned into my mind, you know, to be able to receive similar opportunities. The latitude for mistakes is less. If we had President number 44 talking about grabbing people by the vagina, I don't think he'd still be working, you know, he wouldn't last it 8 years. So it is representation, diversity, making sure that everyone's voice can be heard is important. So thank you for bringing it up to me. I'm sorry I hadn't paid attention.
So I think that is so important. He apologized for not paying attention. Yeah. He pointed out that she was correct. He gave a little background on his own experience of being twice as good. You know, that many of us as Black people, people underrepresented, experience. And he's just like, he said that he would try to do better, or like at least start the conversation, I should say. So I just love this idea that he is open to receiving criticism and then working on it.
Right. And he wasn't defensive.
Right.
Like, you know, he was like, you're right. This is a problem. Right. I didn't pay attention to this. Damn,
I appreciated that. I did appreciate that. I mean, I will say, though, that his response to Olivia Munn, because I'm very sensitive to condescension, there's a bit in there where he kind of says, my dear, when he's referring to her, which made me just kind of like roll my eyes. And I was like, she has a name, darling. So, like, I'm sure there was nothing behind it. This is purely my projection of it. But I read it as there was a whiff of condescension. But like Nicole said, I'm glad that he at least put that shit out there and said, you're right. This is a problem. Look around the room. Here's some background. I will try myself to do better in the future. Thank you for bringing it up. I hadn't thought about it. And I've said this before. I don't think I've deleted this tweet yet because I delete many of my tweets. But there was something when I said about a good apology, a real intense, like a really kind of like hands up apology is as erotic as cheesecake to me. That it's just something that not enough people do.
Right.
Or they do it and they kind of stop somewhere halfway.
Yep.
And in this, everything that Nicole pointed out, every element of that answer was to kind of say, you're right, I'm sorry, hopefully this will be better, thank you for bringing it up, etc. That thing about not being wildly defensive, not being horribly condescending, not being kind of like, well, that's what you think, but just kind of like, hey, this is not something you would bring up lightly. I appreciate you doing so. Here's how I intend to make that better. Full stop. Yeah. And I just kept thinking, God, if only more people would just put their hands up and kind of go, wow, I really fucked up, you know. Anyway, here's how I plan to remedy it. So again, guys, this is my public radio voice.
Yes.
For the love of Christ, just apologize.
Yep.
Just apologize.
Yeah.
There are so many things that will be so much better. Sterling K. Brown has told you, women have been telling you. People give you roadmaps all the fucking time.
Yes.
Here is a clear example of a man who was like, hey, I hadn't thought about that. I see your point completely. Yeah. I will try and do better. Isn't that hot? And as delivered by Sterling K. Brown, isn't it even hotter?
Yes.
Oof. He looks so good. I mean, just
he does. Well, I was looking at that like I'm listening, but also come on, Skin.
Listen. So we've spoken a lot about his acting ability and so on, but I feel like we've actually a little bit skipped over how hot he is.
Okay, so his Instagram that Essence brought up earlier.
Yes.
Like, it's, you know, promo, I love my wife, I love my children. Oh, look at my bare chest.
Yes,
look at these six packs. Look at, you know, you ain't know I had it like that, because his suits are very well tailored.
Yes,
his
we
clothes
love a
look,
tailored
yes,
suit. We love
his
a
clothes
tailored
look
suit.
good on him, and you can tell that he's fit, but he's not like shirtless all the time. He's not, you know, but and then when he is, you're like, shit.
So on that note, I want to play for you now a clip about him going on the Ellen show.
Oh yeah.
So he went on the Ellen show, he dropped in unexpectedly, as though this hadn't been fucking planned.
Right.
And I just want to, so, you know, Mandy Moore was on the show, as was Milo Ventimiglia, who play his on-screen parents. And I just want to, let me play a little something from this, because Ellen asks, she basically makes a request that I think a lot of us want to make of Sterling.
This is the first time Sterling has been on the show, so he's got to do, it's not really a challenge, but it's just something just to feel like family. Because so Mandy rode the tractor, Milo was shirtless, and so we have something back here. What you'll do is you'll ride a tractor shirtless. You'll take your shirt off. I love it. And you'll ride that
tractor. She said it so matter of fact.
Yeah, she did. The audience went insane. Watch him take off his top.
Yep, D-Mike.
He's wearing a jumper right now, what Americans call a sweater.
You all right?
And it's a lovely little plum sweater.
Oh,
Don't worry, Justin took his shirt off too. Hey, Sterl.
Yeah.
Justin took his shirt off too, so don't worry.
Every male cast member of This Is Us has been on without their shirt.
Here we go.
And now he's getting on the tiny tractor.
Oh my gosh.
Where's the gas?
I don't know.
He's got big feet.
All right, you got it?
Look at Essence's face.
Y'all. Oh my God.
So he's in jeans. You can see his underwear.
Oh my God.
Essence's face. He's got on some red, I don't know. They look kind of like briefs.
They look like boxer briefs.
Yeah.
Woo. So I just want to. I wanted to put that there for the pure thirst content.
Sorry, Essence had to drink some water. She was over here.
You look taken aback.
First off, thank you, Ellen DeGeneres. But yeah. He looks so good.
You're so speechless.
I don't know what to say. Like, Sterling is the kind of man, like, okay, so if we went on a date, like, I would be scared to, like, eat in front of him. Like, he's just so fine. Like, I would be like, I don't want to look, like, bad. Like, he's just so hot. Like, I would just be, like, so, like, I would be shaking. Like, I would probably, like, my hands would probably be, like, a little, like, jittery.
Yeah.
Like, I would have to have a drink first to interact with him at all. Like, drink
like,
first
soothe your nerves a
to
little
soothe
bit.
my nerves, because he's just so fine.
Yeah.
Like, why you look good like that on that tractor?
Why?
Yeah, right.
To what
It's
end?
ridiculous how good he looked on this little bitty ass tractor.
It's like, it's low-key disrespectful.
Yes.
It's the way I feel anytime Angela Bassett wears something like with no sleeves.
Yeah.
It's like, how dare you? Like,
What is the purpose of
right.
this?
Yes.
Why are you doing
Like,
this?
why are you trying to tear me down?
Yeah, so that's Sterling K. Brown. He's even hot on an itty-bitty little-ass tractor, in the words of Nicole from just a few moments ago.
Wow.
That's Sterling K. Brown Essence, man. Listen, we are so thankful that you were able to be in the studio and talk to us at length about Sterling K. Brown.
Thank you for having me.
Where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram at @theessenceof_. Also on Twitter at @theessenceof7. And yeah, that's about it.
Excellent.
Yes. All right.
I just would like to say, like, he's so hot, like, obviously, but he also has, like, just, it's more than that. It's more than, like, the physical, the way that he so loves his wife, like, the way that he loves his TV wife, the way that he is as a dad, like, with his, for real children and on, like, TV. It's just, like, he's just, like, everything that you would, like, want in a man.
Wow. Yeah. We understand.
I'm right there with you. I'm nodding and I'm like, I have my hand just in my neck and going, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And that's just me. I'm just relaxed talking about him. Amazing.
Thank you, Essence, for coming in.
Thank you guys for having me.
This has been such a swoony episode.
I know. I still have the vision of Essence's smile behind my lids.
I mean, it's burned on now. I think Essence's joy was already, my joy was already great. And Essence's kind of just really distilled it to the purest. She literally, I know her name is Essence, but she literally distilled my love for Sterling K. Brown to its very essence.
Yes.
And how wonderful and fitting, because, wow, I really fancy that man. And I'm also I'm proud of him. I'm happy for him. I want to make sure he's fed. I want to make sure he's looked after. I just want to make sure he thrives. I want to cheer from my living room couch when he wins his Oscar and be like, that's Bay. Like, look at Bay out here slaying. I love him so much. So yeah, I'm so happy we did this episode and we had Essence in there because her love was so pure and clear, and that really added something.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. I'm glad she was in the studio with us today.
I know we never really ask guests to write fanfic, but I have a very strong feeling that if Essence had been tasked with the job of writing fanfic for Sterling, I think she would have knocked it out the fucking park.
Yes.
To that end, Nicole, I'm very excited to see what you've got this week because
oh my goodness.
No, because he's a very different kind of first object for us. Yeah. So I want to see where our minds have gone in terms of building a story around our idea of Sterling came around. I'm sorry, I keep trailing off because I just keep thinking about his smile too. He's so beautiful.
He's so beautiful.
All right.
So, Bim, are you going to go first?
I mean, I could.
Yeah, why don't you go first?
All right, fine. You twisted my arm. Sterling hugged my mother goodbye for a third time, and I'd had enough. You'll see him on Sunday, I told her, more or less peeling his arms away from her. She smiled at him again before sending a look my way and waving her goodbyes. He smiled at her retreating back and waved until the car's taillights glowed in the distance. As soon as the car turned the corner, he raised a cocky eyebrow and gently bumped my shoulder with his. I don't know, he shrugged and fake examined his nails. I think I have a fan. He was right. Mum had smiled and gurgled her way through lunch, and at least a couple of times I'd seen her hand land on Sterling's arm, delighted by one of his jokes or just the warmth of his smile. Still, I rolled my eyes and hooked my arm through his before I tugged him back into the house. Shut up, I said, but I soothed the sting with a kiss to his cheek that lingered when I caught a whiff of his scent. He turned his own head into the kiss, and I melted into him, winding my arms around his neck, reveling in its corded strength. By the time we pulled apart, his eyes were hooded to match mine. I'm your biggest fan, he said. Always will be.
Get out! He's so playful and sweet, and you capture that.
Thank you. Oh my God, I really dug deep. And
I'm trying to like peel off my face.
I just want to smash my face into his face and just like,
my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. So let me hear what you've got to say, Nicole, because he is so playful. I wonder if you've somehow translated his playfulness into something truly filthy. I look forward to hearing what you've done. Okay, let's go.
It's not playfulness, but all right.
God. It's something to do with his commanding stance, isn't it? Fucking hell, mate. Go on.
Work was terrible today. A red wedding of layoffs. When I got home, I took a shower and lay on the floor on my belly, reading a paranormal romance about a werewolf and a witch. Sterling was in our home gym, and I didn't want to disturb him, but when he came downstairs, he saw me in self-soothing mode. I had texted him on my way home, and he'd heard me griping about work for a while now, so he knew he didn't need to say anything. He carefully joined me on the floor, pressing himself against me, a beautiful human weighted blanket that smelled like late-night summer promises and looked like the sky of that same night, clear and dark, quiet and beautiful, crafted by some divine being into exactly what I needed. He kissed my cheek and ran his hand down my back until he cupped the fullness that meets the back of my thighs. Then he rested his head on my shoulder and slowed his breathing to mine.
Ugh. That's just fucking beautiful, isn't it?
I just needed...
Finish that sentence. What did you need?
Today, I just need somebody who knows what I need. You know what I mean?
I do know exactly what you mean. That's the most cryptic motherfucking thing you've ever said. But I fully understand it. And I appreciate you channeling that into fanfic. Because what is fanfic, if not a way for us to meet our own selves at the point of our need? I'm telling you, Nicole, that's a winner. That's a beautiful drabble. I appreciate.
Thank you.
Well, listeners, first buckets. If you too have seen something that grabbed you, lol, in any one of these drabbles, please, by all means, let us know. We always wait a day so that the stories can really settle in your soul, in your spirit, in your shondo. And then we put a poll up on our Twitter, which is at Thursday Kit. And we ask you to please take a little moment, think about the things you have heard, and then cast a vote accordingly.
Right.
You know, it's very, very little. It's a very small bit of interaction that we ask of you. And every week you deliver, you vote, you come in, you really make us feel feelings. Sometimes you even send us drabbles of your own. And you can do so at firstaidkit@buzzfeed.com. We'll announce the winner, but as we say all the time, Nicole,
everyone is a winner.
Yes.
When it comes to Fanfic Wars.
That's
we're
true.
winning because we're writing it, you know, we're channeling some creativity and some thirst. You're winning because you get to hear it.
Yep. And you also oftentimes will bat it back with your own version.
Yes.
So we love it. Everyone's a winner. That's the whole ethos of First Aid Kit. We're all lusting out loud together. It's very much a group activity, and we appreciate it every single week.
First Aid Kit is produced by us, Nicole Perkins and Bim Adewumi, Julia Furlan, TK Duterte, and Camila Salazar. Our music is by Tanya Morgan.
You can follow the show on Twitter at First Aid Kit, and we are at Bimadew, that's BIMADEW, and Tennessee Whiskey Woman, that's TN Whiskey with an E Woman. Plus, we're on Tumblr at firstaidkitpodcast.tumblr.com. Please come first with us.
For our Thirst Sommelier service, call and leave a brief message on 765-884-4778. That's 765-8-THIRST. Non-U.S. listeners can send us a short voice note via email.
Please also head over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review as well as a rating for the show. It helps other people discover First Aid Kit. And because we are needy narcissists, we always appreciate 5 stars.
And if you live tweet your listen, please use the hashtag TACPOD. And you can send us emails of love, affection, support, and all kinds of good stuff at firstaidkit@buzzfeed.com. Thank you so much for your unwavering support.
Man,
we love you.
It means so much. You don't know how much it means, but we see it, we feel it, and we want you to know that we are sending it back to you sevenfold.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening to us, for taking the time out of your very busy and often, I imagine, quite sad and angry lives because of the news cycle. And you come here and for a few minutes every week, you enjoy First Aid Kit, and we appreciate. In the meantime, stay thirsty.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Your mama would love him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, if y'all fell out, your mama would, like, be checking you, like, what you did to him.
Yes.
Like, Mom,
yes.
It's his fault.
I feel like my mom would be a giggly mess around him.
Yes.
You know, just like...
you so crazy, boy.
Yeah.
Give me your plate.
I already know.
You want some more oxtails?
No.
He a mess.
My mother would be like, Nikki, go get him something to drink. Right. You know?
Yes.
Like what? Calm down. He got 2 legs.
Right.
So
like feminism.
what we're doing right now is putting our mothers on blast. Good job. Well done. Good job, everyone.